Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has reiterated the Commission's commitment to ensure a free, fair, and credible elections in the forthcoming gubernatorial poll in Anambra State. Professor Yakubu made this known at a regular quarterly consultative meeting with the media held in Abuja. INEC had fixed November 18 to conduct governorship election in Anambra State, which, according to the Commission, 37 persons have taken nomination forms to contest under different political party platforms in the state. According to the chairman, the commission is ready for the election, stating that about 5,200 smart card readers had already been deployed to the state.
So that is something we are doing that we got right in Anambra, at least in the build-up to the elections. There were issues before the parties conducted their primaries, but there were pronouncements by the courts and the matter is settled. Then what have we done in terms of our preparations? First, the card readers will be deployed because this is the standard for all elections since 2015. We need to deploy 6,200 smart card readers in the Anambra election. 6,200 to each of the polling unit and voting points, and then we have some spares in case of malfunction or failure. So far as at last week, we have tested the functionality of 5,200, and we are satisfied with that, and the machines are going to be deployed in the field. The people of Anambra will determine who their governor is by the 18th of November. This one should be taken for granted from the Commission. In fact, our commitment is to make Anambra the first conclusive governorship election in the state in a very long time. You know, for a very long time, Anambra election was never concluded on first ballot.
He spoke on some challenges the Commission is facing in the conduct of elections in the country, even as it prepares for a general election come 2019.
Are there issues that the local governments and other designated centers, while we are conducting the elections, are far away from where the majority of citizens reside? They are separated by considerable distance from communities and what have you. We accept that. I will come back to the reason why we are starting at local government level. Second challenge is publicity, voter education. There are many citizens that think that the new continuous voter registration exercise is a new registration exercise. And so some people may have registered twice. When we do the deduplication, we'll catch those who have registered twice. There is a mechanism by which you can filter those who register twice. So this voter registration exercise, please help us to communicate again and again, over and over, to citizens that is only open to those who have turned 18 and those who, for one reason or another, could not register before the last general election. Simple.
Speaking on the occasion, the National President of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Wahid Odusele, called for more collaboration between the media and the electoral body, which he said will improve the electoral process in the country.
This interactive session, I believe, will also allow us to open up and discuss many issues which ordinarily might not even be able to discuss at an open press conferences. And maybe quite unusual, this meeting also afford the INEC opportunity to also get feedback and advice from our members, because it's not often that journalists will give advice, because really it's not our business to advise you. It's our business to report what you are doing. But we are also Nigerians, and we have our ears to the ground, and there's certain information that people will easily bring to us, and not INEC, and I'm sure my colleagues here will want to share such information with you.
In a later development, the Commission also met with chairmen and secretaries of registered political parties in the country. INEC chairman, in his address, said there is no room for independent candidates, warned those campaigning for presidency and other political offices to obey the law.
But although INEC has fixed the date for the general election. We are yet to release the timetable for that election. And the law is very clear on when electioneering and campaigns commence. It's 90 days to the election and must stop 24 hours to the actual casting of ballots. But we have noticed that some people, using the name of some political parties, are already in campaign mode. Since, as we speak, no Nigerian can contest election as an independent candidate, there is no provision. The Constitution says that anybody who wishes to contest must be sponsored by a political party. And even though we haven't had any political party that has openly declared campaign for the 2019 general elections, but you owe it a duty to call individuals using the names of political parties to please obey the laws of this country. INEC is yet to issue the timetable for the commencement of electioneering campaigns. We expect all politicians and all parties to comply.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
In its bid to strengthen the operations and services of electricity distribution companies in Nigeria, the federal government has approved a sum of 25.99 billion naira for the settlement of debt-owed electricity distribution companies nationwide. According to the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who briefed State House correspondents after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, stated that the costs cover electricity consumed by federal government, ministries, departments, and agencies. Fashola maintained that verification of the claims by the DISCOs is still ongoing, as state and local governments are equally expected to share in the debt burden.
That over time, since the inception of this administration, claims of debts owed by government to distribution companies have been a matter of concern, especially in the light of liquidity issues. And we had committed that those figures will be verified, and the verified sums government will pay. We've completed the verification, and as was announced to the monthly power meeting, and we now ask Council to approve the verified sum of 25.994 billion owed by ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government to be paid to the DISCOs out of the claims made by the DISCOs of 67.41 billion. Now, so there's a differential of about 41 billion. That differential arises first because some of the claims do not belong to federal government. The debts are owed by some states and local governments, and also some public international organizations that have been classified as government institutions. So there needs to be some more verification going on and undertaken at state and local governments, which we have urged at the National Council on Power about a week ago. And this is important so that government can demonstrate its support for private sector by paying its own debts, so that private sector can do what they do best. Government has also approved that this amount that has now been quantified and approved as a debt be set off against the amount owed by the DISCOs to Embed, which is a 100% government-owned company, because they owe. You've only always had one side of it, that government owes them. The other side is that they also owe government for their unremitted collections for energy that they have taken and have not remitted a full amount. They are owing about 500 and something billion to to government.
Another memo that made it to the Federal Executive Council meeting is the investigation into the circumstances that led to the damage of some tubers of Nigerian yam recently exported to the United States from Nigeria, as made known by Agricultural Minister Audu Ogbe during the briefing.
One or two developments in the agri sector. One is a new development about a consignment of yams which was exported from here to the US and which, according to reports we had today, was found to be of poor quality. The ministry will investigate, because the ministry is not an exporter. Exporters are private sector people. Will investigate both the company that exported it and ask our quarantine department to check and find out why such a consignment left here.
The Agriculture Minister also disclosed that plans are underway to repeal the law prohibiting the export of some agricultural produce in Nigeria. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanet.
Nanet?
Nanet offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanet, service with a smile.
About 553 days to the general elections in Nigeria, the incumbent governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fahishe, has become first citizen to publicly declare his interest to run for 2019 presidential election. Ayo Fahishe, a member of Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, at a formal declaration of his interest to become the country's president, expressed confidence that he would defeat the incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari, if given a chance to run for the office of the president by his party come 2019.
You know, with God all things are possible. To some people, how would this journey be possible? Because they are men of little faith. They cannot see tomorrow. They cannot understand that God rules in the affairs of men. They are limited by sight. Today, it is glorious. It made 17 people differently in Nigeria. I am one of them. I am the Nigerian man to watch out for as we go into another decade. If you like, believe. If you don't like, don't believe. But one day, you will make reference to today. Yes. That you are part of this declaration, Mr. President. Let me come and visit you. Yes, I don't want to be a billionaire. I want to be president of Nigeria.
Meanwhile, PDP had zoned its presidential slot to the northern part of the country, which might not be in favor of the governor, who came from the south. Before now, the party has disassociated itself from his declaration, noting that it still stands on producing the president from the north.
Without telling me, I know I have so many adversaries. I know I have haters. They will not die. They will not die. They will see me the same way they saw me return to the government house of Ekiti. They will see me enter this villa by the grace of God in 2019. The things of God doesn't make sense to the ordinary mind. The ordinary mind will fight it. Who is this boy? from that small state, no money, telling tales because they are limited by capacity. If you look at that video, that documentary, you will see that I was much younger than this. And the words I said then, they are now alive today.
Ben TV observed that many of his party faithfuls were absent at the event. In Abuja, LM Chukwamika reports. Senior pastor Living Faith Foundation Church Apo, Prince Will Nyedibo, has joined other Nigerians to call for peace and unity among all tribes in the country, especially now the nation has marked 857th independence. Pastor Prince Will, in an exclusive chat with Ben TV in Abuja, said there is need for Nigerians to live together in harmony and tolerate one another.
To be patient and support our government and believe in the project Nigeria. They say Rome was not built in a day. So I strongly believe that even though some people say Nigeria is 57, it should be an adult, but we also look at, if you look at our age in comparison to other nations that have done 300, 400, 500, 600 years, you would definitely know that we are just wait and be patient and be hopeful and also believe. It's very important that we believe in the project Nigeria.
While speaking on the agitations by separate groups in the country, the pastor called on the government to treat all Nigerians equally without being biased. He also noted that the church has a big role to play in the project Nigeria.
I believe the agitations are majorly as a result of people's perception of how they are being treated. So I strongly will say that we need to be sure that we are treating everyone the way equally, the way fairness, justice, equity, everything that will make all of us live together as one. Like I was saying to the people yesterday, I mean, we're intermarried. Nigerians are literally interwoven. So trying to break them away right now, I don't think that's the solution. I would rather think that with the way we have grown, we also believe that God purposely put together. Yes, you can say the British put us together, but somehow nothing happens in God's calendar by accident. We just believe that it is in God's divine project and agenda that this nation will be together. And in prophecies, there has been serious prophecies about God's plan and project for Nigeria. So we don't think it was a mistake. We rather believe that this is God's plan. Rather, we should pray and support the project and believe also in it. The church has a big role to play, and that is to continuously pray and hold on to God for the transformations that we desire. Because without God, we can do nothing. The Bible says that, without him, the laborers labor in vain. So I strongly believe that God is a key factor in where we are going. And there's no way for us to ignore him. Every nation that ignores God will always go under.
On the call for restructuring, he advised government to heed to people's call, if that is the only way to restore dignity and love Nigerians share in the past.
My message will be that we need to live together in harmony and unity. Between APOB, Arewa, OPC, or anybody, you might discover that you have either your sister married to one uncle or one uncle married to one cousin. We sometimes when we talk, we don't really remember these things. But when the reality dawns on us, we discover that to actually separate this nation is not an easy task. You are going to hurt either your brother or your uncle or your cousin. Somehow we're already an entity. And it's my prayer that we should remain an entity, but we should love one another and should exercise restraint. Actually, I also think it's still a pointer to the fact that some people feel they are not being well treated, they are being marginalized. So any system that will work and that will help everyone to feel as a part of this family should be encouraged. If restructuring is going to solve the problem, then let's restructure. If sitting down on a round table is going to solve the problem, if the confab is going to solve the problem, whatever is going to solve, even if National Assembly is able to solve the problem, as long as every part of this entity, every part of this geographical entity feels safe, feel fairly treated, feel secured, and feel that they have a return for their partnership. I think that's what I will stand for.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.